right. Welcome back, you guys. Welcome back to this episode number 8 of Audience of One. I'm here with
Razo.
and
PA. What's up, y'all?
PA, you're PA today.
I'm
and
PA
Sam.
today. I'm PA today.
Welcome back, you guys, once again. We hope you guys really enjoyed our night of worship, that segment that we posted. It was a powerful night, man. We wish you guys could have been there. The presence of God fell, and it was amazing.
Yeah,
But welcome back. We're going to be getting back on our regular uploads of regular episodes again. So to start off, how are you guys doing today? How's everybody doing this week?
Good, man. We're sorry for putting y'all through that. Through these like couple awkward weeks.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm good.
Yeah.
Work's been pretty calm. Everything's been staying busy. I can't believe we're already in November. So,
bro, time is flying, and it's just it's been great. I know God is doing something great in this time. But today, we're actually even recording on a different day. We're not even recording on our usual day.
Yeah.
So we got a little light from the sun coming out and everything. But today's episode, I'm gonna put a title on the episode. I haven't even told them. Well, we actually mentioned the episode. It's what's in your inbox. What's in your inbox? You know what's coming in? What are the communications that you're using? What social media accounts are you lingering in too long? And I think it's a great topic because in this time, in our generation, social media plays a big role. You know, you can be a political person and love politics, and you're influenced by Twitter or Instagram because somebody posted this or somebody posted that out of context. It can be very misleading. So I just really wanted to start with the grand question of how much impact have you seen social media do? Because you guys have obviously lived a little longer than me.
Let me sip some tea real quick.
What do you say, Pastor?
I mean, it's a big influence. We see it just not even like you were saying, not just in politics, but in sports. Like, it's so crazy how like everything is just attached to social media now. Like, I think it was the NFL, they had the trade deadline, and throughout the day, I was like scrolling because I think when you see it on Twitter first, and like the sources, say like, oh, like, I was waiting for the Cowboys to trade for another receiver. So I was like, I kept on refreshing just because like I know, who has like the first one to release it out there to the media. So I was like, even in like basketball trades or when somebody's hurt, it's like, or for fantasy football, whatever the case may be. But I just like how everything has just changed to where it was at first like just the website or even like the newspaper you would know to the next day.
Yeah.
But how everything is just so like quick. Even when it comes to like something that is going on in the news, like when Will Smith got slapped.
Yeah.
I mean, when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. Everybody, I didn't even know. Like, I didn't watch it that night, live. But I think like 5 minutes later, I was on Twitter. Yeah, 5 minutes later, and somebody's like, what is it? Trending Will Smith.
Trending Will Smith.
And I was like, what happened? What did Will Smith do? So I clicked on it, and it showed him slapping Chris Rock, and I was like, wow, like how quickly, just how.
And sometimes it's not even like you're not even on it, but just something happens, and I'll send it to send it to anybody, or you'll get that message from somebody, and it's like, look at this, and it's like, dang.
I know, man. It's like how it's just insane how just quickly everything is just you can upload something and just like you'll know about something in the next 30 seconds.
Yeah, I remember. I think I saw a video this week about this guy. He's like, man, baseball's changed so much. Baseball used to be more popular because they would wait outside the banks and outside like barbershops. When the newspaper would come out, they would get updates on the baseball game because they wouldn't know. There was no way of telling. There was no emails that you could attach to. You would just sit outside a bank. And he's like, it was so much more popular because you'd have crowds of hundreds of people waiting to see the reports of the Dodgers game, of the Red Sox game, or the White Sox, or all these other things. And I think it's crazy because I think it was, I think I read that it's 10 years, we've had more technological advancements than in like 1,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So like we've just like out of nowhere, we started advancing. Our technological advancements have been so great. We're really like, it's a marvel. We're living in a great time. But in the same sentence, now we get more information quickly. Now you also get misinformation quickly.
Yeah, that's what I was
That's
about
true.
to say. It's a very dangerous place because there's a lot of misinformation out there, and before you even, people are quick to like share something that's not true. I mean, I guess like, and we won't dive into politics, but like specifically politics, right? It's like like he said this or that, or anything happens and people just don't fact check sometimes. So it is dangerous that way. But then there's also, I guess it's sort of become, I've seen it over we grew up without like the social media, and you did too, like when you were younger. But like now you see people who don't like to socialize with people, but they're very active on social media and like posting stuff like that. But once you meet them in person, it's just like, bro, like you're not where your social media is. So it's like it sort of gives people this whole like other persona. There's a different word for it, like your alter ego. Yeah, it gives people like an alter ego to live through, and that's like a dangerous place to be in too. Or like it can be like a really lonely place at times for people.
I mean, I think it gives people it gives people the ability to be themselves without actually being them. Because I mean, you go from anything from I think I portray the same character online that I do in person. I don't think I changed very much, but I do have friends, and even I've met like business friends who like got their little business going, and they're very serious. But in person, like you can never tell that they own a business. But it's crazy because it gives you the opportunity to keep that what's the word, like etiquette, keep etiquette and like be, formal and be respectful and responsive. But the minute that we hang out or we're doing some playing basketball, like it's different. It's so different. But as well as people portraying different characters, people also attach themselves to different things on social media. Like I know there's social media websites that push for more like personal things. Like you can have Patreons. Like on Twitch, I watch a lot of Twitch streamers either just talking, or they're playing a new game, or they're talking about the new elections that are just coming up. And you get these people who group themselves, and it sucks because there's isolation outside of social media, and then you get on social media and you also have this division between people. And I think that that's very toxic for the generations to come.
For sure. Yeah, I think so too, man. It's just like even when everything was going around with like George Floyd and everything, like that's when like really hit, and then people started saying, Black Lives Matter, and then you make a hashtag, or even like what is the Me Too movement?
Me Too movement, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like all you got to do is like put a hashtag, and it's crazy how like something will go around like talking about it. And it was like, I think what was I watching? Fluffy, Gabriel Iglesias was talking about how he, during the pandemic and everything, they were trying to like get rid of Speedy Gonzalez, and that he put like cancel, what is it, cancel culture or whatever, hashtag cancel culture, and how like once he put that cancel culture, it just like went viral. And people were like, "What do you mean they're trying to cancel Speedy Gonzalez?" And it was just like, he's like, "I didn't know it was gonna blow up that way." Just like, I just put one word, and it just like went like somewhere totally different. And the Universal Studios called him and just was like, it's not that. We're not trying to, would you like to play Speedy Gonzalez? And he was just like, whoa, like just how everything. But he was just like saying just how everything just with one word or a hashtag can just change like so many things. It's just insane, man.
That's crazy. I didn't even know about that.
It's also interesting, I guess, to see like churches try to navigate social media and try and use social media. I guess that's something I've sort of been paying attention to. How can you use your church? Because at times it sort of feels like we're telling people, you missed out, like that's literally what you see the most is like, don't miss out, you missed out, don't miss out, like, oh, let me show you what you missed out on, instead of using it for how can we serve you today, how can we serve our community. So I mean, it's interesting to see churches try to navigate like social media right now, and how, I guess sometimes I wonder how we can use it for better, and to better serve people, I guess, in our community.
Yeah, that is crazy, because you can do so much good, with social media, like promoting, like, hey guys, let's just get together on social media. This church, we're gonna get together on this street. We're gonna serve burgers and we're gonna have live worship. You don't see that anymore. You're absolutely right. It's almost like promoting concerts, because they're like, hey, don't miss out, or you missed out, or hey, you weren't there. Okay, I know I wasn't there.
And it's just like, is that really enticing somebody to want to come? Like, okay, like I missed out. Like, okay. Like some people just see it like that, instead of sitting here like like maybe putting out a positive message, you know, just short, like a short clip, or just does any, you know, if you're going through something, let us know, you know, like through social media, just kind of like let me build this platform where if you're going through something, you can reach out to us and know that we're there to help, and not just, you know, like not just posting out videos of like what our service was like and hey, you missed out, like hope you can make it next time, like, so
No, I was telling Razo just like the impact it makes too, like. He had did like a small, we had a pumpkin patch at our church, and you know, he did a small video, just kind of our pastor inviting everyone out and just kind of showing footage of what we have here, and it was just insane how not only on Instagram but Facebook, the word just got out, and when people would come, you know, I was asking them like, hey, how did y'all hear about us? And I got so many people like, oh, through Facebook or through Instagram. Like I saw a video and someone shared it, and I was
that
like,
thing
what?
blew up, man.
Yeah, man, it was like I think it's like 4,000 views, and I was like, man, it's just crazy, just how quickly everything got out, but just how the word spreads, like. Because we had people that came from like Fort Worth that they saw the video, and people like from Garland, like, oh yeah, I saw the video, and someone shared it, and someone posted it like on one of those like what is it, like community kind of things, Dallas community pages, and word just got out, and I'm like, man, it's just crazy how everything just spreads. You post something and it goes like viral.
Yeah, we started seeing people who had like no connections to the church, or people from the church share it.
Yeah.
Like I guess I saw some people come up on my page that shared it because I shared it, but like they just don't, you know, they don't network around the church. It was just like random people. And then Javi too, he like sent me a screenshot, and he was like, bro, he's like, look at this, like people are sharing it who don't even have any connections around us. So
that's crazy.
It was cool to see it. Yeah,
that's like a miniature movement. That's what I was thinking about the other day, because I mean, a lot of people, and it's one of those hot topics for some people. Like, oh, a church is doing a pumpkin patch in October.
I saw that.
And it's like
fall festivals, Halloween.
But and then people use the scripture about don't be a stepping stone. Being a stepping stone is worse than actually sinning. And they're like, why would you do it in October if that's like Halloween? People, you know, they're not gonna wear a pumpkin on their heads. They may make pumpkin pie or whatever, carve the thing. I carved a pumpkin with Dominique before. Wait, actually, have we? I think we decorated one. But anyways, that's besides the point. I think it's.
I did see that, yeah.
But that's one of the things that social media does to people. It's like, oh, like pumpkin patch. They associate pumpkin patch to Halloween when
fall festival.
Yeah, if you showed up. It really was just like a
come take pictures. We have we have like really nice setups.
We got a decoration
so that you can come and take pictures with your family and spend time with your family. And we have a concession stand with the food was bomb.
The food was amazing.
The food was so good. And shout out to all the staff that helped out. I know Pastor F shouted them out. He's been shouting them out, but
shout out.
They did an incredible job this year. And so I mean, there's just like a misconception of like what we're doing. But in reality, it's just for you to come out with your family, spend time, like take some pictures, you could have brought a photographer. I think you said that there was like a photographer up here trying to like do photos and stuff like that.
Some people got engaged.
There was engagements.
For sure. It was just so many things, different days, and you know, we just like communicating with some people. It was even a blessing to like, I was just telling like, hey, if you know, whatever y'all need, we're here for the community. You know, some people lived around here in Dallas, and you know, I just told them like, hey, I'm one of the pastors here at the church, and you know, anything you guys need, and just a couple of people were like, hey, well, I need prayer for just like this, and I was like, hey, well, can I pray right now? And like, I was praying for a couple of people like here at the pumpkin patch, and it's just like, to me, that's what it's about. It's not about.
Absolutely.
And that's where I was gonna go next. To me, the best part of everything was knowing that people showed up to our Sunday service because they came to the pumpkin patch.
Yeah.
Because that's part of the whole outreach. So when people sit here and like, oh, they're doing this or that, like people are showing up to our church who possibly weren't showing up to church in a while. So I mean, I'd rather celebrate that than sit here and like entertain the idea of like, oh, they're doing pumpkins in October. You know, like get out of here, man.
Yeah.
And it's tough because you reach a level of uncertainty with some people because they're like, nah, like I don't know really what you guys' real intention is. But if you ask the pastor, he's gonna be like, we're just taking pictures and eating. That's basically all it was. And it's like, you push this, and that's not just with the pumpkin patch. It's with many other things. Like a lot of people talk about, my family included, we talk about how the sanctuary is holy. And sometimes we'll see on social media like other churches are like playing in the sanctuary. And you get to a point where you're like, I don't know whether that's right or whether that's wrong. But it's not your choice whether to decide whether that's right or wrong. Yeah. You either go or you don't go. And that's what social media does. Social media teaches to compare, teaches to relate, and it also teaches to choose.
And it divides a
lot.
It divides so much at times.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Like, I mean, it's something as little as, oh, I saw he unfollowed me. Mm-hmm. Or he's following that person, but he ain't following me.
Oh, he blocked me.
Yeah. Or he blocked me. Or I've seen this before, and it's happened to me personally, where I'm friends with somebody, and they'll be like, hey, why are you following him? Because they don't like that one person. Yeah. The beef ain't between me and them. It's between you and them. You're my friend, but they're also my friend.
I heard Sebastian likes to go to his block people to see his prisoners. His prison babies.
He's got 7 years on there already. Yeah, it's time to put him out on a bail.
Nah, but yeah, it is super dangerous. Like you were saying, to compare, to see like what other people are doing. And like I said, we're talking about, like, it's a blessing. Social media is a blessing, but it's also a burden. Even for myself. And little story time. I'm gonna share something real quick with you guys. Serious matter. So it was, I want to say, probably in April. Yeah, around April, because the Mavericks were in the playoffs. I remember, and there came a point this year where, and I didn't share this with nobody except Christina, but there came a point where, like, there was just like a darkness that came, like a season of darkness just came over me. And it started through social media. Just like I was starting to scroll a lot, and I started noticing like people that we know, like, I guess you could say, like, advancing in the kingdom, doing great things. And the more I scrolled, I just felt like, people were getting houses. So everything was just like spiritually, just everything. Just I saw people doing greater things, and it was just kind of like the enemy started just kind of, I guess you could say, put it in my ear, just like, look what they're doing. Like, are you really like advancing? Are you really like being a blessing to people? And like the more I just started scrolling, like the more I noticed by day, like, man, it just started getting darker. I'm like, man, like, and the enemy just started throwing like, hey, you should be a lot further in your walk. Look at so and so, or look at so and so. They got a house. Look at their family. And it got super dark in that month of April, and it got to a point where I was like very going through like a depression, and I was like, man, like, I just kind of like started believing it, like, man, maybe I'm not making a difference like these other people, like maybe I'm not making an impact, and not having the house yet before we had got the house, and just everything was just super dark, and like to a point where I was like, man, you know what, like I just need to stop scrolling. Because if I continue scrolling, if I just continue like being on social media, like it's gonna take me like somewhere like where I don't even want to be. And I just like, and it was so crazy how like just God will put things like in order. Because I think like a couple of weeks later, we had gone to the Mavs game. Yeah. And like not even knowing, like that was just a break that I needed from everything, because just the weeks that I had was like the previous weeks I had were like very bad, very dark. So I needed that for me, because, for those who do not know, like, if it's something that's not spiritual, like something that I love doing is just kind of like watching sports, going to sporting events. And when we went to the Mavs game, it was just like a relief for me. But after we went to the Mavs game, like we had a conversation, and you don't even know this because at that moment, like we weren't even like super close like that. But I remember like I had shared a word to you and Mel. And then you're like, man, you don't even know like the difference you're making in my life, and the word that you gave us, not knowing what we're going through, and you were just like speaking word of like affirmation in my life, not knowing like, man, like a couple weeks ago, like I thought I was a nobody, like I wasn't making an impact, but you like giving me like reassurance, like, hey, you are making a difference, you are making an impact. Like I look up to you as a leader. I was just like, man, like I just at that moment, like, man, I was about to cry, but I was like, no, let me.
If you would have cried, I would just sat there and be like, what?
What's this guy going through?
But like all, like not even knowing that, man, just like how everything, and I know that's how it began. Just, I stopped scrolling at that moment. I just took a season of like, okay, I'll post something, but I stopped scrolling. I stopped looking at people's stuff, because it was like, yo, that's how the enemy, will creep in too. Like, yes, it's a blessing because you see a lot of people, everybody's like upbringings, like you see everybody's promotions, but like nobody wants to, you never hear nobody sharing like their dark moments on social media. It's not until after they're divorced, where you're like, hey, me and so, like when we saw Tom Brady and Giselle like a couple weeks ago, like, all right, we're divorced, like now we're divorced. And it's like, you don't know what people are going through. And I think we have to be careful on that matter too, like that we don't start, goals, like, those are relationship goals. Yeah, you see what they want you to see, but now you don't see the dark seasons that marriage is going through, or you don't see what those dark seasons that pastor is going through, everything the seasons that we have to pass through, and people are so quick to reshare, retweet, whatever the case may be, like, oh, I want to be like that person, or I want that my marriage to be like that, or I want my relationship to be like that, but not knowing, hold on, like take a pause and not just kind of be quick. Don't be so quick to.
Yeah, I think another side of the social media, when you start comparing yourself to, like, a part that I've struggled with, and I know my wife has struggled with it too. It's like social media today has become, it's just so dirty. But like, to me, it's like I've struggled with like my self-image and how I look, and to see like these bodybuilders and stuff like all the time. They're like everywhere on social media, both like male and female. Oh, yeah. And you just sort of start comparing yourself, and I'm on a weight loss journey, but I'm not there yet, and like it's just sometimes it's just like, dang, like I want to be there, and you start putting yourself down, but there's a process to get there too, but yeah, just the whole self comparison behind social media. You were doing it, like in a spiritual level. Some people do it, on a physical level. Some people do it, I don't know. There's like different ways to like compare yourself and put yourself down. So I do think it's always important to catch yourself and take breaks from social media, because nobody talks about that. But I've seen people around me, and one of my really close friends, like, he literally deletes his Instagram like every now and then, because he's just like, bro, like, it's draining, like I can't do it.
It's toxic.
And I mean, I try and stay off of it. I try and not be that active, and when y'all do see me post, it's just like family stuff, or like lately if I'm in the gym, just
pumping iron.
Just to like boost myself up a little bit.
Yeah. So I took a full week. And I was not on any social medias. I wasn't on Facebook. I wasn't on Twitter. I wasn't on Instagram. I don't even use Snapchat, but still, I wasn't on Snapchat. But
what's Snapchat?
But what I got out of it was amazing, because I deal with the same thing on both scales. I see people physically, and I'm like, I want to be there. People are my height. Some of them are around my weight. So I'm like, I could definitely like look like that if I put in enough work. And then people I've seen, and I can be open and honest, like I'm like, how them but not me, and that's not even just because it's not a, oh man, I wish it was me, or they don't deserve that spot. It's after so much time of seeing Instagram and seeing people post, you're like, well, God, when is it my turn? And not even just physical, the like physique form or the spiritual. Some people deal with like mental matters, like or physical matters, like body dysmorphia. And those people can't do anything about their bodies. But you see these people like posting like, oh, like, and then the comments don't make it any better. So many people don't realize sometimes boosting other people is pulling other people down.
Yeah.
When you boost somebody else, and this is like something that I learned over the years, is that sometimes when you boost, even though you're just complimenting somebody else, you're pushing somebody else down. You can say to somebody, oh my gosh, body goals. And if somebody goes into that comment section with body dysmorphia, they're going to say, wow, so my body isn't a goal. Yeah. The way that I look isn't okay. Or people who deal with, I know a lot of people who deal with anorexia or struggles to lose weight. And those are real things. And then you get people like, who are rude and say, oh, like, I don't want nobody who's big, or I don't want nobody who's too thin, or I don't want da-da-da-da-da. And that idea of I don't want somebody this way is, by nativity, it's comparative.
Real quick, I just thought about this, because I was telling Mel when I first started losing weight, right, I felt big, but I remember being in the gym, and there was this bigger guy, and he would look at me the same way I would look at somebody. Like, my goal was never to like be like super lean and shredded, I just want to be like, I just want to like cut some fat off. So I would look at guys who I was like, okay, that's like realistic, and I'd be like, that's goals. But I would see this other guy looking at me like, that's goals, like if I can only get there. So it's just like perception of like where you are, and like, right now you're saying that. I just thought about, and I would tell Mel all the time, I was like, I see this guy and I'm like doing progress, but I still feel, like I'm like really big, and I was like, but I know he looks at me, he's like, if I could only get there, and maybe there's somebody like who's like, if I can only get there to where he's at, right? So yeah, man, a lot of it's just like perception and not being, I don't know.
And when I was off social media, not a thought. I just didn't think about it, because I was like, You don't have you don't have the ability to think about something that you're not seeing, hearing, or talking about. You just don't have the ability to. Yeah. People are creative, yes, but you just can't be like, oh snap, I'm sure so and so posted on social media. No, you don't think about that stuff. And the week went so well because I wasn't like looking at social medias. I was doing my thing. And when you realize and you come down to it, other people people my age have houses, have nice cars, are six figures. I'm not a six figure. I don't have a house. I have a car. It's not like this grand car, but I have a car. But like, check this out. 4 years ago, I was a nobody. I didn't have a job. I didn't have a car. I didn't have a fiance. And it's like, don't compare. If you want to compare, don't compare yourself to so-and-so. Compare yourself to the old you. Yeah, and if you're not anywhere from the old you, then you're going to have to start making some adjustments. But with that being said, like it's crazy how many people subconsciously are doing these battles in their head. And it really brings you down. And then it brings other things into your life like lust. And that's a big thing. Social media right now is full of just like, you can go anywhere and you can see somebody having sex. You can go anywhere and you can see somebody's nudes. Or like I was on social media the other day. I watched this YouTuber. And he had these two girls guests on his thing, and they were live, and the whole comment section was links to the both girls' sex tapes.
Oh wow!
And it's like, bro, like these are people, like maybe that's their way of life, whatever. But regardless, they're not going on this to be guests, to be what's the word? They're not going on there just to be sexualized. They're going there talking, they were having a conversation, and it's so crazy how people are just so driven by that. You get on TikTok, thankfully my TikTok feed isn't like any of that stuff, but the first time I opened my TikTok, the first couple of weeks, girls like half naked or like girls talking about like, oh, like, I know you got a girlfriend, but it's okay, we can still get together, and like straight up Jezebels. And they'll put in the comment section, I'll be your Jezebel. And it's like, this lack of self-awareness in this generation is crazy. There are women who are like, if you don't make $1 million a year, like he's not even in my pay range. Girl, like the medium range right now is like $50K. That's average in America. Once you get into the millions, you're like top 1,000 people. Girl, they're not gonna choose you out of those 1,000 people. They don't want your broke self talking about something. I ain't gonna cook. I'm gonna be a housewife, but I ain't gonna do nothing. You're not gonna get him.
I know what you're talking about.
So it's like this generation is so driven by what they see, but not what they're living.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Lately, I feel like everybody's just attached to this. Like there's just such a huge attachment to your phone, and like people live through their phone. And I'm not even gonna lie, like at times I catch myself sitting here having to tell myself like, put your phone down and spend time with your daughters, because sometimes we just get caught up in it, and there'll be times where like Amelia's just like papi, and like I like unintentionally blocked her out, and I'm just like, all right, I need to put this down, and I did like, just spend time with your kids,
right?
And it's just like a scary thing to think about. Then you see Meta doing the virtual.
Dude, that's
like,
crazy.
It's crazy. You see them like build this whole like virtual world.
Metaverse.
Yeah, the metaverse. And it's just like the whole intention is for people to like go and live like their alter ego life through that, or
and escape this reality.
Yeah, and escape this reality. And I mean that's a little scary to me. And I mean I have like no desire to like take part in it. I enjoy conversations in person. I
real
enjoy,
people.
I enjoy going to play basketball with friends. I enjoy getting together. So like part of me just has no desire, but there's people who are already like completely like immersed in that universe I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they work. And then on their free time they go and they like live in the metaverse, like.
I mean, it's almost like borderline like playing video games.
Yeah.
Because like when you play video games, you feel like you're living at least like, oh snap, like I'm this cool character who can do da. But yeah, exactly. Like, I'm just shooting some random Russian guy on the internet.
I'm 2K. I'm Luke.
Man, I'm Kobe right now, man.
Did you get the new Modern Warfare? Or no?
I did. I did get it. It's pretty good.
It
brings you back, huh?
Should I get it or what?
I think you should.
Christina said no. Christina's like,
I want I'm employee of the month at my job, so I got $100 gift card.
Oh,
I was like, should I go spoil myself a little bit?
Nah, bro, I don't know. Christina's like, we won't employ you.
She's like, sounds like we got a
100.
Yeah.
We have a date night next Friday, so he's paying with that gift card.
Pluckers,
Mother pluckers.
Pluckers.
No, but now, yeah, and that stuff's real. You know, that stuff's really taking a toll on people's lives. Or going back to like being influenced, you go on TikTok and people are straight bashing the Bible. Mm-hmm. Like, I saw this girl that's like, the Bible isn't real because X, Y, and Z. And she's like, men wrote the Bible. Misogynists wrote the Bible. Therefore, the Bible is man-made and it's not God-made. So when people lie to you in church and say that God wrote it, it's not true. And I was like, first of all, nobody says that God wrote it. Second of all, men did write it, but it was men through God. Or God through men, sorry.
I see, the crazy stuff, man. The craziest stuff on TikTok, man. That's all.
So I'll take the conversation somewhere else, because I guess this is like I don't know, man. Sometimes I see people, and because you said what's in your DM, so we'll take it to like what's in your DM, right? Like what's in your inbox. I feel like the danger of social media is that people can escape their relationship so quick that I can sit here and have an argument with my wife, or like we can be going through like a really hard season, and I can escape this marriage and put my effort into social media, and like, you know, anything can take place from there. Any DMs, and it literally all starts with a like. Mm-hmm. Like all the conversations that I've
double tap. What are you double tapping?
What are you double tapping?
Double entendre. Like literally, like all the conversations that I've had with people around me who have like been in situations like that, is just like it all started with a like.
That's true though.
Right?
Yeah.
And so like that's like, to me, when we talk about the dangers of social media, to me that's like one of the biggest dangers that there is right now. That you can easily escape any situation that you're in and put it into this, that
that's good.
You know, you can sit here and have an argument with your wife and immediately run to this and have somebody to entertain on the other side. You know, like somebody to entertain your time, somebody to give your time to. So yeah, man, can we go into that conversation a little bit?
That's a dopamine rush. I mean, when people do that, it goes beyond like what the eye can see, and that's what people like. For some reason, don't ask me why. For some reason, it's much more exciting to do something secretively than to do something in public, because and I've seen it in so many people. Like and it goes back to the alter ego stuff. Like they're talking to these women, or these girls are talking to these guys who are giving them this rush of adrenaline, like this excitement, like, oh my gosh, like I shouldn't be doing this, or oh my gosh, like I can't. And I've seen it before. Like there's YouTubers who post about it, about like, hey, show me your messages show your partner your messages on Instagram, and they'll be like late night messages. My boyfriend and I are arguing, and the guy will be like, oh, it's all good, like I'm here for you.
Yeah.
And now it's not even just a like. It used to be just a like. And then it's like, okay, now it's a message.
That's a whole door open.
And and now you can like a story. Now you can react to stories. Now you can vanish on Instagram. I don't know if you guys knew that. You can go swipe up, and it's a vanish mode. So anything that you and her, or you and her and the guy text, it vanishes. There's no history. Wow. There's no evidence. So and it's like all these advancements. And I've been thinking about it, because one day Dom and I talked about it. Because what is the vanish mode really for? What is Instagram themselves actually promoting for them to have to implement that?
Yeah.
Then there's people, like you said, arguing, or even not even arguing, like, let's say, and this is diving pretty deep, but let's say like they weren't sexually satisfied and they were having sex with their partner and they just weren't sexually satisfied. Now they're going on the social media, and Ralph from Florida is sending them like pics.
Yeah.
You know, and that stuff is real.
I was listening to a podcast, and the guy, pastor, he had a guy who used to do pornography, like and so and so he said that was his old life, but God transformed him, But he had said this that like, and it just like blew me out, like it blew my mind. Just like what that like the website Pornhub has more streams than the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball, and NHL all together. Like it has more streams than all those 4 big sporting companies all together. And I was like, what in the world? Like that is just insane. Just to know like the statistic of that. Like how many people go back into the websites like that to just like, hey, like you were saying, like, man, my wife's not satisfying me, so I can, like Raza was saying, we can go back with a click of a button or go to a website, and everything has changed. Like we're talking about, everything has just changed. Because before it was like, oh yeah, you would have to go to like to a gas station to find like a Playboy magazine or something. But now it's at the click of a button, and it's just so quick. And it's like you got to be very careful with like what we're tuning in, what we're listening to. That like. Not even that, just kind of like how are we dealing with certain situations in our everyday lives. Like we don't need to run to the phone because, like we said, like that can cause some big trouble, some big arguments. But like that's why to me, like communication is so key. That when we talk, I know we're not gonna dive into like relationships. We'll talk about that in another episode. But like that's why it's so important that you talk it over with your spouse, with your significant other, to like, so you don't have to run to other things, run to other people, try to like even be tempted to be like, well, it's an easy fix. Like, let me just go
quick fix.
Yeah, I know who I could talk to, or I know so-and-so, she don't care about, she has no boundaries. I can just run to her or run to an ex. And it's like,
I'll say this, that it's one of the things that like some people don't like talking about. And like my wife and I trust each other, right? I don't go through her social media, but if I ever just one day like, hey, let me see your phone, and if I want to go through social media, I have access to it. If she ever wants to go through my phone, I don't have a passcode. Like she knows my passcode to my phone, and it's just like for protection from whatever. And she has access to like everything. And recently this week, I was asked the question like, so if a girl were to like DM you, hypothetically speaking, like would you tell your wife? And I was like, yes. And I was like, so not only just to like protect yourself, too, because it's like if I don't tell her, even though it's just like a simple DM, then that DM stays there, and later on, like if for whatever reason, like you're going through like a hard season or whatever, like it stayed there. You never closed the door on it, like, and I feel like sort of like just even if it's like the stupidest thing, it could be like the stupidest thing. I'd just be like, oh, like so and so DM me, right? Like I'm closing that up. I'm making sure that like I can never walk through that. So I mean, I don't know. When it comes to like passcodes and stuff like that, man, I'm very for them. And anybody that says, and anybody that like that isn't for them, I personally feel like you're hiding something. Like that's just like my point of like that's just how I see it.
Oh no, I totally agree, man. Like what do you gotta hide? Like, I think we kind of don't really understand the whole thing.
Some people aren't there. Some people out there aren't gonna like this conversation.
They're not gonna be on the same page.
Nah, but it's true. Like I mean, it's like not only that. It's like what does the Bible teach? Like the two, when you get married, the two become one. Yeah. Like your face is her face. Like your face, you should have her face too as you're on your phone, man. Like because if not, like what are you? Like you were saying, like if doors begin to get open and you start like getting, I guess you uncomfortable when it does. Like, hey, well, let me see your phone. Like, wait, well, why? Like. Yeah, I think it's just we have to be very careful that we don't start opening doors that don't need to be open, and maybe there's some things that just never were healed, to where we're like, hey, well, why? Like we're always insecure of that. Like it could be like past things that we don't just like nobody going through our stuff, but it's like, yo, when you become one, like when you are married, like yo, like at the end of the day, you are one. At the end of the day, like you, no matter who's paying the bill, it's like, well, I'm paying the bill. You don't need to see what I'm, like that's like what do they call them? The macho man, like machismo, like mentality, like no, like at the end of the day, like that you could break your spouse, your significant other just by they may have like trust issues, like, and that's fine, like, but don't like sit there, hide it. Don't sit there and, well, why do you got to do it? Like, you don't trust me? Then, that conversation.
Yeah,
that comes, well, you don't trust, you don't trust me? Like, here.
That's a gaslighting method, though. People use that to like, oh, let me get him to think like, or let me get her to think because I'm actually got something. And a lot of the times it's not even like anything that's significant. It's not even that big. Like one instance with Dominique and I forgot, I got a message from somebody and I told her about it. And it wasn't that big a deal, but the respect, the mutual, the communication, that mutual respect, had been advanced just because I was like, hey babe, like I got this message, and it could have just, I forgot what it was. I don't remember if it was a compliment or just a question, but opening up that door to allowing her to see, hey, I'm all here. Yeah. I'm all in here. I'm not hiding anything. She also has my code to my phone. I mean, she don't grab it, and if she, yeah, exactly, and I think that actually shows a lot of maturity, because a lot of the times when people are like, are you hiding something? They're projecting. They're the ones that are hiding something, so they're trying to put the blame on you first. So what I tend to do, if I leave, if we're at dinner and I need to use the restroom, I'll put my phone next to hers. Or if we're at the house, I'll put my phone next to hers, and I have no problem with it.
One of my friends, and right now you said that, and I'll just say this real quick. Again, we're not talking about relationships. But
just a little segment.
Bro, he told me the worst part about cheating is that you're wondering if they're doing the same thing the whole time. And I was just like, dang.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, we can move on.
Transfer. Going.
When we were at Pluckers, I was like, "There's gonna be turbulence while Adam lands a plane."
So going into another subcategory, as well as you having an open door, it also matters your friends who are in your inbox. What are your friends sending you? Because I have friends, thank God, and I have a family that if I'm having issues with Dom, man, screw it, bro. Let's go out. I don't get that. I do not get that. I don't get the, bro, but look, check this picture out of this girl. Yeah. Matter of fact, I have a really good friend, Josue. And
I was about to put him on blast.
No. Before, I'll be honest, before when we were younger, he'd send me a picture. Oh, this girl's real cute. She goes to our school, whatever. And we'd talk about her for a couple seconds and move on. Now, that's unheard of. He's in a relationship. I'm in a relationship. Even when he wasn't in a relationship and I was with Dom, he's like, dang, this is a really cute girl, bro. Oh, okay, cool. And he would look at it and never send it to me. And I would always wonder, I was like, this bro just changed. Bro just stopped. And it's surrounding yourself. And we go back to the friends thing. It's surrounding yourself with people that, hey, man, me and my girl having problems. Well, you better go fix it, bro, because that girl loves you. Hey, you better go fix it, bro, because that's your fault. If a friend can tell you that's on you, that's a real friend.
Yeah, and a friend can also tell you, bro, just leave.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
Bro.
That's true. That's true.
I'm gonna head out. Man.
There are instances where you need a friend that'll tell you. You can't be putting yourself through that.
Yeah, but I've been there. I've been there over the last couple months too with the friends conversation of hey, let's go do this. I'm not here for that. Saca las chelas. He watches it too. He's gonna crack up when he sees this. I'm good, man.
Yeah, your friends being in your inbox, what you're surrounding yourself with, that also really matters, because the point of influence is usually the people around you. Yeah. So, what's in your inbox today? If you're struggling with something you haven't opened up to anybody about, you don't have to open up to anybody. God already knows. Take it to God. If you got to delete a couple people off social media, let's be honest, there are a bunch of people on social media, guys and girls. I see guys that are just half naked, just got a tanguita on. I'm like, bro, first of all, that's not for guys. Second of all, nah, but girls that are their whole page is just their body, and if you've got that, and you're struggling with masturbation, or you're struggling with lust, or you've had issues with infidelity, bro, you got to do a deep cleanse. I deleted 700 people off my social media altogether, because I was just bro, I don't really need these people. Number one, they're not in my life. They're not really my close friends. Just delete them. Take the time to isolate yourself from social media, separate from those kinds of things, because you don't even know the grand influence that's being affecting you, that's been affecting you, that causes you to lie, that causes you to cheat, that causes you to steal, that causes you to be toxic. Toxicity comes from influence of others, by the way. Toxicity is not a natural thing. You don't.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
You can't be toxic, be born toxic. You're pure. When I was younger, I wouldn't think about I have this little girlfriend, she gonna talk to somebody. I never thought about that. It was from the people around me that would tell me, hey, watch out, bro. I'll see da 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 da. All right, bro. Now I'm insecure. Now I got trust issues.
No, yeah. Nah, I was just gonna say, just to kind of piggyback what he's saying, and don't have because people always use an excuse. Well, I'm gonna bring that person, or I'm gonna speak to them about Christ, or they see what I'm posting about Christ, so they like my stuff.
Don't lie to yourself.
Yeah, don't lie to yourself, man. Like if all the likes you liking is nothing but girls, there's an issue.
There is an issue.
If everybody that you're commenting their picture is a girl, there's an issue. Vice versa. If it's all, let me go.
Come on, Pastor. Let's talk about it.
If everything that you're liking is nothing but girls and half naked girls, then there's a problem. You got to, like Sebastian was saying, you got to examine yourself. Who do you got to take off? Who do you have to remove? Don't think of it. Oh, I'm a Christian, so I shouldn't have to be blocked. No. Like that, there's people that you need to let go. There's people you need to stop following. And just because they once were Christian, because there's people that once were Christian, but now they ain't Christian no more. That you don't need to be following them. Like, oh, that was my girl back in the day, and now I'm gonna bring her back to Christ. And, no. Stop that line to yourself. Okay, stop that line. Okay.
Yeah, and
go ahead.
On top of that, I'll say, husbands, wives, just pay attention too. Like, just pay attention, because sometimes it sits there in front of you. Like, if we're like gonna be honest about it, if we're like speaking the truth, sometimes it's just there's more phone tapping going on than usual. Like, come on. And like sometimes it's funny because I have the group chat with y'all. I have a group chat with friends. I have a group chat with Javi and another
our new worship team.
Bro. Like so there's all these group chats, and sometimes and my wife, like, and it's funny because she'll just be like, "Who's texting us, babe?"
Oh, Dominique does that too, bro.
Yeah, but it's good. Like, it's not bad. I don't think it's bad.
I don't care. Yeah.
Like, I literally turn the phone around and be like, "Hey, like so and so."
I'm like, right? I don't know who is texting us.
But like, it always tells me that she's paying attention.
Domino's, man.
It's 11 o'clock.
Ronald McDonald.
Don't be changing your context either. Those random people. We used to do that back in the day, man.
Nah, but.
I know some people, man, that changed that. Pizza Hut calling you, man. Pizza Hut texting you, man.
But yeah, I just encourage, if I don't know, man, if you haven't been through each other's social media in a while, and like y'all been distant or whatever's going on, just do a little quick dive real quick just to make sure everything's good. And then I was gonna say one more thing, I forgot.
You remember, but I was gonna say another thing that we talk about a lot is that social media influences how people see other people, as far as men seeing women. And I can speak out of this personally. I remember when I was younger, like I would see a woman, I'd be like, damn, she's like hot or whatever. She's like got a big butt or whatever. She's real attractive, and I saw it as she's just what she is: hot, nice butt, pretty face. And when I got into this relationship with Dom, it obviously took some learning, but when I started to separate myself from those things on social media that we were talking about, removing and taking people off, you learn to value beyond what they look like. Mm-hmm. So a lot of guys our age see a girl and they're like, I just want to smash. I just want to have sex. That's all they want out of the girl. And it's like they go out of the category of value. I see a woman and she could be really pretty. She could be like one of the prettiest girls or whatever, and I'm with Dom. She's not prettier than Dom, obviously, but she could be like real pretty. And if I say, hey, man, she's a pretty girl, Dominique won't be like, oh my God, like why are you calling her pretty? It's the level of respect, because let's be real, we all find people to be pretty, we find them attractive, but we're not attracted. And that's a major difference, and people can't determine that difference. People can't separate that, and it's because of social media, because everybody's just like, oh, this girl's so fine, or those trends smash or pass. Like those things have subliminal messaging, which is just not to have value for people at all. Like, and I wish that people saw women as like, well, this woman is like a flower. I think every woman's a flower. Every flower has its beauty. Yeah. Every flower has its petals. Sure, some petals are bigger than others. Sure, some lips are bigger than others. Some eyes are pretty. Sure, whatever. But the thing is, it's not necessarily just about what you see. And social media is just about what you see. It's not what you experience. It's not what you learn about the person. Because I'm learning right now that, and a lot of people told me this, marriage isn't about the sex. Marriage is not about what the person looks like. Yeah. Because, and I heard this and it was so funny, because the titties are going to sag. I'm serious. Like, I heard that, and it was funny because wait. Wait. We're speaking real.
Okay.
This was a preacher who said that on the altar. He's like, the
Sebastian Garcia, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't care. This is who I am. But like, the body is going to sag. The body's gonna wrinkle. The body is going to. Wait, bro. Wait. But we may have to mute that. But it's all good. We're leaving it in there.
It just caught me off guard.
But like that's the truth. That's the truth. And so much of
Mm-hmm.
relationship is always associated with physical, and social media does that to you because you're misinformed.
Filters.
Filters. Like, I saw somebody on Facebook. She used to come to this church. I ain't gonna say her name, but she posted something on Facebook. I was like, "Who are you? You don't even look like what you look like in person."
Yeah.
And it's just it's so real that it's fake. And people have this like oh, this dopamine rush, like, oh, this girl's so fine. They go home and they're like doing these things to these women, and it's like, bro, this is somebody's daughter. This is gonna be somebody's wife. Like, once you start to see the value in people and actually like determine, okay, like, I like Brian because Brian is respectful. I like Brian because he's passionate. I like Pastor Adam because he's honorable. I like him because he's fair and he's courageous. Like, once you start to see people in that different light, number one, the girl will become more beautiful. And number two, the relationship will be driven by actual emotions and passion between one another.
Yeah, right now in this season that we're in, I was telling my wife, I was like, I feel like I've always loved you and I've always cherished you and try to be like as respectful as I can. I've tried to be, I was like, but in this season I've been able to see you in a different light, and God has been like speaking to me about you in a different light. And I was like, there's like a spiritual love that I've built for you, like that I, for some reason, I felt like maybe it wasn't there before. I wasn't as close to God, and like I was just like bone of my bone. Like when God, when God creates, she'll be flesh of your flesh, and like I was just like, you are me, and like it just goes deeper. And I've been speaking over her, and I've just been like, God's been just telling me like every door that's open for me this season, like you're walking through it with me, like and like it's all coming to fruition. But yeah, there's that. And then I was thinking of, like, what I was gonna say earlier was, I'd encourage everybody the way that I use my social media. I did a cleanse on my social media of people that I don't interact with, and I've had people before we did this. I think we had just announced the pod, and my page was private. And I declined a lot of people.
I remember you telling me.
I was like, damn.
Yeah, I declined a lot of people. I declined people that y'all know. And it was just because, like, it's not personal. It's just like, to me, it's just the people that I have are people that I enjoy looking at, people that I've like been around at a point in time. And it's nice to see them with their families. It's nice to see them getting engaged, like it just brings you that joy of like, oh, look, he's still doing that. He's still, he's doing good. That's how I use my social media. I don't care about the followers. I had like 800, I think, and I had like brought it down to like 400. Because it's just like, if I don't interact with you, if we don't speak, like if we've never spoke, like not that I don't care for you, but I just don't want to be seeing what you're doing. Like, you don't know me, I don't know you. I don't, and I don't network well. Like, maybe that's why. But like, honestly, like, just look through your social media. Like, do you just have people that you just accepted or that you're just following just cause? Like, just do a cleanse this week and reflect on how you're using social media, who's in your social media, who you need to cut out from your social media, and who's actually important to you that can stay in your social media.
Yeah, for sure. But like, and two, like, what are you posting? Like, what are you posting on your social media? Are you posting it to get likes? Like, that's something that God had to correct me. Like, early on, like when I was like posting about like encouragement words or whatever. Like, early on in ministry, it was one of those things that I was always going back to like the likes and saying, oh, who liked it, who shared it, and like the Holy Spirit was just kind of like, hey, you need to stop. Like, it's not about that. Just like focus on the word that I give you to give to people, and if it brings life, like, hey, praise God. But I think we're so addicted to the likes. We're so addicted to the shares. We're so addicted to the Instagram, the double taps. Where now the story you can see now it's got even more like, who's looked at my story? Mm-hmm. I've gotten 200, 300 people that looked at my story, and it like we're going back to where like if we don't get a lot of likes, it's like I'll take it down, or you see the people like should I keep this post like. It's like I think we
I'm gonna delete later.
Yeah.
What time is best to post so that it gets more likes?
Yeah, and it was even for like things like this. It's something that I even told the guys like, let's not so focus on so much the views, because that can even be like contagious of like, man, we got 1,000 views, we got 200 views, and we got to be careful that we don't always look at what people are doing, because we don't know like we don't know that let's say a video gets posted and we only got 200 shares, but yet more people were impacted, and they may not comment, but you don't know the blessing, and rather than just like, okay, well, we got people that viewed it 500 times,
right?
And even though they watched it more, it's like, that wasn't a blessing. We just think because of the views, then more people liked it, but that's not always the case. Like we do whatever God has called us to do, we do it just because God put it in our heart, and I think we just need to be careful with that as well, like to make sure that we posted a new picture because we know we're looking for the attention. As well, if my husband isn't giving me the attention, I want the attention on social media.
Likes.
Yeah, I want the attention from other girls. Like we got to be careful that we just don't post to try to get attention from. That could be just husband, wife, even ministry. Like we're trying to put ourselves out there and knowing like, hey, just stay in your lane. And that was going back to my story. Like that was what the Holy Spirit had told me when I was going through everything I was going through. Like, hey, you don't know the race that they're going through. Like you have your own race. Mm-hmm. And I want to encourage someone today, like just remember like you're running your own race. Don't compare your walk. Don't compare your life to other people's walk. Don't compare your relationship to other people's relationship. That's their season. You don't know the season that they're in. But enjoy the season that you're living in right now. Like, remember, like you have your own walk for this journey, for this life, and enjoy it. Enjoy the season that you're in right now. But just don't start comparing your season to other people's seasons or your relationship to other relationships, because it can get dangerous.
I know you saw that what I shared yesterday. So I'll like switch up the words, right? Like don't compare yourself to somebody. Just ask God to like change, like what needs to be changed inside of you.
Yeah.
Because I know mine sounded a little more aggressive.
No.
Don't be hating.
Don't
be hating. But just if you want something, it's obtainable through God. Just remember that. If you sit here and you say, I want that, then ask God for that and dive in with Him, and it will be given to you, because there's nothing that He'll hold back from you. He'll give you the desires of your heart. So just remember that.
Yeah, absolutely. And with all that being said, I think the topic or the title that I gave the episode was what's in your inbox. But I think there's a hidden message, a hidden meaning behind that. What messages are you receiving? What are you getting out of that social media? Because everything is a message. What message is Instagram conveying to you today? What message is that post bringing to you? What are you taking from it? And ask yourself today, tomorrow, yesterday. I mean, if there was something that happened to you, if you got that late night text, hey, you up? You need to have a little more respect for yourself, because if you allow yourself to be just accessible to anybody at any time of the day, remember that unfortunately you lose value for yourself, because you start to think, well, maybe I'm just like somebody who just can like anybody can get with me. Like, no, you're not. You're special. You're one of a kind, and you're unique. So take the time to go through your social media, even if it's just one person that you take off today, or even if it's none at all.
True brand.
Even if it's none at all, it just
don't go to that page. You'll end up like me and Adam.
Hey, real quick, just a side note, like social media can be dangerous too, because it can leave you broke. Because you trying to like look for something on Google, and you're like, I'm looking for these shoes or whatever, and then Facebook will pop up. Oh, I noticed, I saw that you were looking at these shoes. So what about this? I'm like, man, the devil's a liar. Like I try to buy this.
Dude,
like,
that's so real.
It's crazy.
That is true.
They be hearing us for sure.
For sure,
they be hearing us. Don't be paying attention to those ads.
I know, for real. Don't be paying attention to those ads. They left you broke, man. I'm broke because I got so many hats in my closet that I needed to buy, but I bought anyway. It's just because like
He messages me just to like see like hey bro, like I think I'm gonna buy this.
And Roswell's the wrong person. Yeah, bro, get it,
man. Get the hat, man.
Nah, that sounds like Chris. You ain't gonna whoop your butt.
Nah, but that's just a side.
So, but yeah, seriously, man, take the time to do a cleansing, even if it's a cleansing of just staying away from social media or going through and clearing a couple people out. Just pay attention to who you talk to, what they talk about, and what their conversations have been lately. Because, on your social media, you don't want somebody, talking mess about the government 24/7, regardless if you're one way or the other, or it's a friend group or somebody talking about somebody. Like, you don't want that in your life. Stay away from those kinds of things. Take people off social media if you have to. If you're married and you've been having issues in your marriage because of social media, maybe it's time you just stay away altogether. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's just time you guys both delete your social media and isolate yourself. You isolate yourselves again from everybody else, so that way you can relearn the love that you guys started off with. For sure. So take everybody off, block some people, put some time limits. I know that's a thing on the phone now. You can put a time limit on your social media for the day. My time limit is 30 minutes on a social media. So I mean, after 30 minutes, it cut out. And yes, you can go back and put your code back in and move the time. Yes, but at least you have to go through more stress, and you realize, man, it's not even worth the hassle. So take the time, pray about it. If you don't believe in God, that's okay. You still got to do a cleansing. You don't want toxic people, negative people around you. But yeah, I think
we can segue into this conversation because we're talking about like what you're looking at. And you brought this up, so I'd like you to I guess lead us into the conversation when it came, because it also, what are you watching, like shows wise? What are you watching? I guess Netflix, Prime, HBO, like it's not social media, but it's still like, what are you watching? It's
entertainment.
Yeah. What are you feeding yourself?
Yes, absolutely. What you watch, like if you're watching things like 50 Shades of Grey, and you know that you got some issues going around, you are asking for something bad to happen.
Right, opening doors, the whole Jeffrey
Dahmer,
Dahmer. That whole thing like took over social media, man.
That's creepy.
Yeah. That's a whole different bro. Like people were so like, oh, I feel so bad for him. How?
That's what.
Nah, you saw that little kid though. He was dressed as that was a costume that a parent put.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like parents like putting your child to dress as like Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger. Okay, you trying to be funny, whatever, scary, but that's a monster. Like, how are you gonna dress your 7-8-year-old son as a serial killer, like eating body parts? Like, what message are you sending like to your children? Like, when I saw that, I was like, man, that's just disgusting.
No, I didn't see that.
That is terrible. I didn't see that at all, but it absolutely matters, like what you're feeding yourself, because you're not feeding your body. It's just like when you eat. If you went to the gym and pumped iron, I know you know this for the fact, and then you go home and eat some sugary stuff, you go to the gym, didn't even do anything. On the contrary, you're going to be producing more fat in your body. So if you're going through something and you start watching Jeffrey Dahmer and you already have this misconception of how these people are, or like you start to empathize with these kinds of people, you're being desensitized to problematic things, and that won't just affect your ability to choose yes or no, or right, to determine whether it's right or wrong. That'll affect your regular life, because then you'll be with somebody who's like real toxic, and you'll be like, oh no, it's okay, like it's okay that they're abusive, or it's okay that they've been cheating on me a couple. Like, you don't want yourself to be in that. So what you feed yourself as far as videos, YouTube, social entertainment, Netflix, what shows you're watching, absolutely. Try to stay away from things that you struggle with.
And right now that you're saying that, this just came to my head, and this is like really personal because I haven't really shared. I've told Adam a little bit about it, and I won't like dive too much into it. But in my darkest season, it was a couple years back, and it was so dark, man. I went through like a depression, and I just remember right now you're speaking this, I just thought about music too, because y'all know that I listen to music a lot. Like, I listen to music I drive all day, so literally music stays on, and like just music didn't make it any better. Cause the lyrics that you're listening to, like some of the what's his face, Extentacion, something like that.
XXXTentacion.
Yeah. like his music's dark, bro.
Oh yeah.
And like his music just kept like playing like during those times, and like it just got like really dark for me. And I remember, and it was for a while, and I just remember like when I started like the day, like I just like had breakthrough. I just felt like listening to worship, and I mean I wasn't really coming to church. I wasn't looking for God, but there was just something in me that was just like worship. And then through that, I remember just like pastors' testimonies and stuff, and like just words started like coming to my head, and like I slowly started creeping out of that season, like little by little.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like what you listen to at times too. Like, what are you going through? What are you listening to? What are you watching? What are you putting in your brain? Because at the end of the day, all of that affects you psychologically. And it just doesn't make it any better. So if you catch yourself, if you're like in a dark place, don't run to dark music. Don't run to like this type of, just run to some praise and worship, because even though you don't want to listen to, you're eating better than you would if you were to eat this. And like, it's essentially giving you something positive instead of giving you something negative. I just thought about that right now whenever you're saying that.
I love that you're saying that, because not only does it open doors, but it can reopen doors. So let's say you struggle with, masturbation or pornography, but yet you're going back and still watching, Game of Thrones. But it's trending. Yeah, but, what are they showing you? Vice versa. Same thing with music. You struggle with those kind of things, but yet you're listening to Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion. What are they portraying? Like, and it's just not music, but you see it. I can't believe that, how they're just, even like on
openly,
MTV, like they're letting these people, like just these ladies, like just twerk on national television, and that's fine. Like, and it's just so like, it can get so ugly to where like you just don't want to reopen doors either, like that were once there.
Some people don't even understand the power of, like, so specifically music. I mean, I guess like what you watch too, right, on shows, but like some people don't understand the power that music has, because if I sit here and I turn on Adele 19, her 19th album, like, I'm low-key gonna be sad for no reason. Like, if I'm being honest, like, it gives you like the emotion. It like music can sway you one way. Music can make you feel some type of way. So yeah, I mean, just people don't even understand that, like, when you listen to, and I'm not saying like, if you want to listen to Adele, like, I don't really care. Like, I'm just saying that, like, in certain seasons, like, it's important to be careful of what you listen to. Because I mean, if someone like you comes on by Adele, I'm low-key gonna be like, dang, like me and my wife are going through it right now, even though we're not. Like, like, I'm gonna get home, I'll be like, never mind, I'll find somebody like you. Right? Like, and I, like, we're good, like, but like, it just conveys emotion to you. So just be careful with
absolutely
that.
Sure. And another good example is when you're angry and you listen to some type of
I run to rap if I'm angry.
Yeah, I know, bro. That's what I'm saying. But like, if you're like struggling and you're like mad at something, when I'm upset is when I play the opposite. I'll play like some jazz, and I'm like, all right, whatever, I'll get over it. When I'm sad, I'll play upset music. I'll be like, I like Andy Mineo, okay, Lecrae, like da 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 da, or the new Graves in the Gardens, like that. That song's pretty banger, by the way.
Yeah, it was good.
Pero like, if you're upset and you have a grudge, and a lot of the times grudges, to me, a grudge is like a nail that you have in your side. And when you listen to music or you watch a show or you talk to people that are embracing that, all they're doing is hammering that nail in. And over the years, that nail becomes one of those nails that you actually have to cut a piece of the wood out to be able to remove that nail. Grudges aren't something that you can just like, oh, it's a nail, and pop it off. No, like, the more you smack it, the deeper it becomes, the more of you have to cut out in order to remove that grudge. Ooh, that was a word for somebody right there. That was a good analogy. I came up with that on the spot.
It was good.
And the music feeds that nail. It's just hammering that nail in, like, yeah, that's why, like, I don't need these people. I'm just gonna do me, making all this money. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, or like Doja Cat, she also plays a lot of sexual music. And on the song, she talks about, like, having sex with this other guy, but at the end of the night, like, I'm still gonna come back to you and we're gonna have sex too. Like, all this music is just, it affects you. You don't even realize it. It changes your mood. If I go up to somebody and I'm like, hey, how you doing today? I'm a little upset. What are you listening to? They're probably gonna say somebody who raps, or rock, you know,
heavy metal. Heavy metal.
Heavy metal, yeah, and and it does partake a lot of influence in your life. I mean, really everything does. Let's be real, everything does. But like, it just make sure that you're being aware. And a lot of the times, if you have a problem, you probably don't know that you have a problem. You probably just think that, this is just the way that I am. Or I hear this a lot.
That's just the way it is.
I hear this a lot. I'm gonna live my life. What is the word?
I'ma do me.
No, yeah, like straight up, it's something along those lines. I'm gonna live my life
to the fullest.
No. It's basically unapologetically.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna live my life unapologetic. What the freak does that even? First of all, you're gonna have to apologize 20-something more times in the next week. Yeah. So it's like if you're living your life unapologetically, you're being selfish because you're just worried about you. But it's not just you. You're affecting, and you don't even know it. You're affecting people around you. If there's somebody around you who's more emotionally attached to you and looks up to you, and you're like, man, I'm just depressed. That person may be more depressed. That person may end up taking their own life. Yeah. You just never know. Take a look at your circle. Take a look at what you're listening to, and listen thoroughly to the music, because the words, even if you don't hear them, they're gonna be carved into your mind.
Yeah, for sure.
No, for sure.
But yeah. I think we're landing the plane.
Yeah.
We're land the plane.
I think we do. I think we do. Let's try it. Let's try it.
Let's try what?
Land the plane. Just kind of talk about the night of worship.
Sorry guys. We have a timer over
here. Yeah, we're making sure that the word. But
okay,
Brazo. No, bro, it was your idea. Yeah.
Was it my idea? I don't think it was my idea.
You started with the house worship.
Yeah, so I hope that y'all saw that night of worship that took place at our place. It was really nice. It was something that God had put in my heart. And
don't be offended if you weren't invited.
Yeah, don't be offended if you weren't invited. It was just there was a heaviness for the people that were there, and God did incredible things that night. And so, anyways, Pastor Adam went home that night, and he was like, "Well, how can we host one here?" And he started looking. And that ended up being until we're going to host a night of worship at our church, Palabra de Vida.
Yeah.
So it's going to be December 10th. I don't know if we have a time yet. I want to say it's going to be around 6 p.m.
Yeah, 6.
But there will be a flyer coming. So if you listen to this and you want to come out and worship with us, it's going to be an amazing time. Our friend Brian Ramos is going to be here with his wife, Jenny.
Christmas theme.
Yeah, it's going to be
Christmas Jingle Bells.
Yeah.
We want to have some hot chocolate, some pan. So if you have a chance, come out, bring somebody, come worship with us.
For sure.
And yeah, just that's a small announcement that we have moving forward.
Yeah. We just want to invite you guys to come on out and join us. We just got a lot of stuff planned for you guys, even for going into 2023. But yeah, thank you guys once more for tuning in. You guys have been a blessing. Thank you all even when we weren't recording these episodes, we went live, and we had a couple videos that we uploaded. But thank you guys for all the support, and always just being there.
Yeah. Thank you.
And we'll make sure to put some more information on the location.
Yeah, we'll have a flyer coming soon. Sure. It'll probably be out around the same time that the video's out.
But other than that, thank you guys so much for tuning in to episode number 8.
Yes.
Check your inbox. Make sure what's in your inbox. God bless you guys. We hope to talk to you guys later, and we'll see you.
Right, see you guys.
See ya later.